Cannes is a marathon, right? How do you keep fit during this week? What's your sports of choice or non-sports of choice? Mary, what do you do?
Walking. It's like you have to walk up and down, and then if there is a time, take a swim. That's necessary to cool down.
I think that's a great stuff. What do you say, Barbara?
I would say walking for sure, and also running, because the timing is really really short between a meeting and the other. So yeah, often running.
You have to have your running shoes.
Yes.
For sure. Magnus, what's your sport of choice during Cannes Week?
I was about to say Cola Zero, but no, probably walking. I got the last hotel room in Cannes. It's 2 miles down that way past the port, so I need to walk. Yeah.
So a workout every morning coming here to the beach.
Exactly.
So thanks so much joining us this morning to talk about sports and brands. Let's get into it. Let's get into our workout. I'm already sweating through my first Lacoste shirt this morning. Why do you do sports? What do sports partnerships mean to you? Why do you engage in sports? And what are you looking to achieve? Maybe we'll start with Barbara.
Yeah, sure. So at Lenovo, we approach sports not as a sponsorship channel, but as a partnership platform. And I think here there is the big distinction, because we don't want to borrow brand's equity, but we want to build equity together with the brand. And we are leveraging our technology solution to elevate fan engagement on one side, and on the other side, we want to help our partners to improve their performance and deliver the right outcomes. When we talk about partnership, actually, we ask ourselves how we can bring smarter technology into life in ways that are, valuable for our brands and can resonate with our audiences. So we usually look at different dimensions, let's say, but the real distinction is between sponsorship, which is more static, you do the deal, you sign the agreement, and you put a logo and activate around it. But partnership is really, really more dynamic in the way we want to create value together with the brand over time. So yeah.
So it's really about integrating also your products into the partnership.
Yes.
And not just sponsoring it. Magnus, as a financial service platform, why do you engage in sports?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a media guy, so I would say it comes down to reach and attention. Like when we use partnerships, we need to make sure that we're reaching a lot of people and that people are attentive and that they connect Klarna in some way brand-wise to what we're partnering with. And we know that, like, if you know a brand or our brand, you're 7 times more likely to choose us in a checkout. So it's very simple. Like, if you recognize our brand, if you know what we are, that helps a lot. And that shows in the partnerships that we've been working with as well.
I think we'll have a look later on a little bit on those partnerships where you brought some stuff with us.
Yes.
Mary, as a beer brand, I think sports is a no-brainer almost, right? So how do you engage in sports? What is important to you when looking at the opportunities that are there for you?
Exactly. I think sports is key for beer brands. We're trying to find partners that help elevate the brand, but also open up connections to new audiences. We're very much into understanding the passion points of our audiences, and sports is definitely key. How we work with brand partnerships is different by brand. So we have Ferrari for our Peroni brand. We have a partnership with the City Football Group for Asahi and the Rugby World Cup. And it's all about understanding how you can build, extend your reach, but also how you can build a better relationship with your audiences.
So when looking at all the possibilities around sports partnerships, how do you select that? Like, how do you go into finding the right one for you? And I think we'll start with Barbara on this one, right? Because you brought us also a little bit of an example of a partnership that you're doing, right?
Yeah, correct. How we select partners? It's a good question. Yeah.
For
here-
Formula One, bringing the race to their... It also means adjusting the images in real time for consistency.
So this
that
is your
fans can
F1
easily follow
partnership,
along.
Yes, exactly.
Formula One is
This is
always
a good
innovating.
example
Recently, they have been
about
exploring
what
how to
I was
increase the number of live stream videos
telling you
within their
before, the
broadcast.
differentiation between sponsorship and partnership. Because for Formula One, for example, we are not just visible, but we are embedded at the core. Lenovo powers technologies, infrastructure, for beyond the scene, for example, and also delivers and provides services and devices to outline and streamline operations. And we work together with F1 to design the storytelling, to create a storytelling about how smarter technology can deliver both performance and innovation across sport.
F1, big topic. You're partnering with the, let's say, the league, right? You chose to partner with a brand within the F1. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, it's Scuderia Ferrari. And because Peroni Nastro Azzurro comes from Italy, I think Scuderia Ferrari was almost a no-brainer. We went into F1 because, again, this ties in a lot with expanding our audiences, trying to connect to what they like and then become a priority brand in their minds through this partnership. And I think it goes back to your point as well. It's a different thing when you talk about sponsorships appearing in a place for a period of time. And it's a different thing when you build a brand partnership through the years and consumers connect you with brands that they already love or have engaged with. So yeah, absolutely, Scuderia Ferrari has been a great asset. And it's also one of those things, you'll know that from F1 as well, that it allows you to have presence through the year. And that is one of the best things that you can achieve, so long as you know how to amplify it and make use of media, as we said earlier.
I think that's a great segue, but any thoughts on how you select that at Klarna? When you go about all the possibilities, all the vendors coming to you?
Yeah, I think there's just so many factors you have to take in when you look at these different partnerships. You have to choose what arena you want to play in. You have to choose, is it a team, is it a league, is it an event, and how much, do you want to fully own an event or do you want to be one of many? We've chosen different routes in different times. Obviously, our focus has been more into B2C. So if I see Formula One more as it's certainly B2C, but it's very much a B2B play, which makes a lot of sense. For us, we've chosen more B2C events like the NBA and basketball and football.
I'm going a little bit off script here, but I just thought about this. Can you give us an estimate, just rule of thumb, how many offers do you get to partner with leagues, with teams per year? Is it in the hundreds, or how many
Every day.
emails do you get?
Almost every day there's something that you get an email on, and it's it is very, very hard to choose and understand the difference between taking full ownership of something that is very small. I think before we talked about paddle, it's an upcoming little event, but it's still reach-wise tiny. So do you want to take full ownership of that, or do you go more as one of many brands in a more established sport like Formula One or NBA or Chicago Bulls, like we did? I think it's just, and you have to look at what can you afford, because you obviously need to make sure that you have the sustainability to drive these partnerships as well.
Is that the same for you? You get swamped with offers and possibilities, and maybe you have can give us a little bit of a clue of how do you select then from all these offers, because there are many coming probably.
Yeah, indeed. There's a lot, and especially for Asahi Group, different beer brands, different beers in market, global brands. Obviously, this is an endless discussion. But I think it also stems from the fact that the teams that are behind those sports partnerships also have uncovered this as a fantastic way of working with the brands instead of waiting to have investment through media only, right? So it is definitely in the big numbers of offers, to answer the first question. But I think it definitely makes sense because it helps. It's a collaboration that helps build both brands. It helps tap into, as we tap into, let's say, the City Football Group audiences, then the City Football Group, by partnering with Asahi 0%, also can tap into the audiences that will follow the brand, right? So it's a win-win for both ends.
How many offers do you get, Barbara?
Yeah.
Give us
As
a
my
number.
colleagues.
Nobody wants to give a number, but you give us a number now.
Many.
Anyway.
I don't have a number, but we look at different dimensions to select our partnership. First of all, the audience and the fan base. Is this fan base fitting with our audience, the brand audience, meaning tech-savvy and innovation focus? And then the brand value. Does this partner embody Lenovo's core pillars like innovation, performance, co-working, team working? And then, the possibility to create content together. I mean, this is really, really important for us. We want to create value for our target audience. We want to create moments that they can share and they can, contributing and amplify with their on their social channel, digital channels overall.
Channels is a good segue into the next question. So now you have all these offers on the table. Now you selected one of them. How do you amplify that? Because at the end, a partnership with F1, with the Chicago Bulls, it needs to be probably brought to the people, right? So how do you go about there, Mary? Maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think brand partnerships themselves, working with brand partners, is half of the story. You definitely, when you go down that route, you have to think about what you said earlier. How do you allow consumers to engage with this relationship? But also, how do you amplify it through channels? How do you find the right spaces, let's say in the RTL channels? And it doesn't have to be associated only to the event itself. Like for City Football Group, which is a football team that hopefully many people will know, it's not just about advertising around the space of the city football stadium or wherever the games are happening. It's all about taking that experience to connecting Asahi to sports and to football in general, right? So making sure you find spaces where other sports events are happening, taking content that you might create with the players of the City Group and take it there. It's all about making sure that you follow the consumers through their journey. So you build a brand partnership and allow consumers, A, to engage with you, and B, to make sure that then, since you're branded as a football brand, now you follow the spaces around football. And that might be on video platforms, that might be on actual events, which, to be honest, on live TV, the biggest events now are around sports. And then making sure that you are connected throughout those sections where people will spend the majority of their time, and then they associate the brand and the partnership.
If I can just follow up on that one, because as a beer brand, as I said, sports is a no-brainer, right? But that on the flip side means it's a super crowded space, right? So when you go out there and do media, you're competing with all big beer brands. How do you try to separate yourself then within media from all this competition?
So this is where the brand partnerships come in. If you think about it, it's a chicken and egg, right? So because you want to be there in the sports arena, because it makes sense, because it links into your consumer passion points, what happens is that unless you go into building into these brand partnerships, you really just become one of the many, right? So I think this is the great value of those brand partnerships. They allow you to have that standout voice that says, oh, actually, they sponsor my favorite team. And then everything else follows. So it's interlinked. Having only a brand partnership is okay. Does it do the job? For me, 50%. Doing only media on live TV or only pushing through sports events, yes, but it's very busy. Combining the two, the dream.
Barbara, would you agree with that? Is
Yeah,
that the
of course.
same for Lenovo, looking at how to amplify partnership?
Yeah, partnership is the crucial, part. It's really, really important. But as said, also media is really, really the key point that can amplify this partnership and push the value to the target audience. And the point is here more on creating moments and experience for our target audience. Now audiences are more discerning than ever, so they don't need to be just visible, or they don't want just visibility. They want authenticity, they want innovation and experiences that are aligned with their value and lifestyle. So creating content for them, value for the target audience together with the partner is really essential. And another point for me is the partnership with our media vendors to create a media approach which is really unique and tailored for us, powered by insights and designed for success.
Follow-up question. Do you feel that sports and technology is also becoming a very crowded space for you guys then to act in?
Yeah, of course, but we need to understand the need of our customer on one side and the value that we can create together with our partner. I think this is the key. The shift is not just brand exposure, but brand experience, media experience.
Brand experience, Magnus. Klarna Financial Service, you're involved in a couple of sports relationships. We brought some of them here. Maybe you can talk us through how
Sure.
you amplify them.
Yeah, so this is our partnership with Chicago Bulls that we started, I have to think now, maybe 5 years ago. Ultimately, this was a partnership for us to, stand out a little bit in the US audience. It's a crowded space. It is hard. Like, I don't want to generalize, but the share of attention in the US that people spend on sports is quite high, which means, like, if you want to put your brand out there, sports is a really nice arena to do that. And then, as we've discussed, you can do it in many ways, and you can also think about, like, every sport has its core audience. I mean, for Chicago Bulls, you have the core fans, and then you have the circles moving outside of that. And obviously with amplification in broadcast media, and driving reach, that is a really good way for us to get some cut through in what we're doing. And it was a good opportunity also to explain our product a little bit, drive that content that educates. The next one was an extension.
Again, basketball, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
With
So
the big man.
we extended our basketball activities in the US with a partnership. I guess you could call it a partnership with Shaquille O'Neal, where he changed his name to Shaquille O'Deal, which was a fun play. But I mean, for anyone who isn't US, including myself, it's hard to understand how household name he is. He's as known as Trump,
He's
but
not just a sports celebrity. He is like a bigger than life character. Huh?
exactly. And I mean, he is as known as Donald Trump, but not as divisive. So it's it's a great person to have to endorse our brand as well, and again to drive a bit of education around our products.
And finally, you brought a case
So
in football.
yeah, exactly. So we have two football partnerships. One is Angel City Football Club in LA. It's a female football club. This is the opposite to Chicago Bulls, actually. This is much more where we went in deep and did a lot more. It was a relatively newly formed team. A lot of value associated to this team. And also for us, it really connected with our core audience. I mean, the average Klarna customer is female between 25 and 35, something like that. So this was a good way for us to talk on the brand side a little bit more than we did with the Chicago Bulls.
And I think we have one more football example.
Yes.
No, we don't.
Maybe not. I could just talk through that quickly. The last one we're doing right now is with the German Football Association. And essentially we're partnering with both the female and male team. In Germany, the Football Association is what Chicago Bulls and NBA is in the US. It's very household. They've partnered a lot with, I won't say boring brands, but the likes of Volkswagen and these guys, and we come in with something, I hope, a little bit fresher.
Nice. Now, you selected all the partnerships. You've got your media. You know how to amplify it and reach your audiences. how do you measure success? What does success look like in a partnership like this? Maybe for a beer brand, we'll start with that.
Definitely engaging new audiences that you borrow and share with the other brand that you partner with. And then absolutely the fact that it's a brand partnership that gives you reach and presence throughout the year. I think the component that is trickier to evaluate and takes a bit more time is how much does this brand partnership fit to the brand? So you have to really know what your brand represents, what you want the roadmap of that to be in the next 2-3 years, and then make sure that any partner that you select basically will work towards the same approach, the same values, and the same outcome. So yeah, it's a process. As you said before, there are big numbers into the offers that we get in every month. But I think it's all about finding what's the right fit for the brand, how can you get into new consumer audiences and tapping into your existing consumers' passion points, and then what is the best way of interacting with that partnership.
Barbara, as a technology brand, you're very much driven by data.
Data.
So what are the KPIs? How do you look at sports partnerships to measure success?
I think that everything starts with clear and measurable results. We really need to look at 4 main dimensions. We have the media metrics, like reach, frequency, attention, engagement. Then we have the brand metrics. As you were saying before, we measure the uplift, the sentiment analysis related to our brand, the affinity with the brands and the partners we are working with. And then, of course, the brand impact, meaning sales, lead generation, ROI, attribution, everything is being tracked by our performance team, of course.
So you keep that all in a holistic view, like attached to that partnership, so you can see
exactly.
the different dimensions moving or not.
Exactly.
Okay, nice.
And being data driven doesn't mean have a dashboard, just a dashboard. We really want to create feedback loops between creativity, strategy, and content, of course. And we need to make sure that these feedbacks are short, because then we can learn from these insights and activate soon after.
Magnus, I would guess that at Klarna, a financial service company, everything comes down to the numbers. So how do you justify to the CMO, to the CEO and CFO, the brand partnerships that you're doing? How do you measure the success?
I mean, we do it in a few different ways. Ultimately, I mean, if you look at a team like Chicago Bulls, like obviously we had a lot of media attention around that vicinity. You have core fans in that area. Like you can look at what happens in and around Chicago, to be totally clear, and then compare it what happens in the rest of the country.
In terms of Klarna usage, then?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, are we driving consumer behavior in a good way? Do fans understand our brand? Like, do we have cut through? The other way, but like ultimately, I would say it comes down to, are we growing as a brand in the US market? And are these partnerships opening up new doors with retailers as well? That's a very important point, because we grow with our distribution. So, and I can say definitely yes to all of those when it comes to our partnerships. So,
for everybody here, do you have to then report really on a monthly basis to the C-level guys what this is bringing, or is it part of the global, let's say, media activation budgets, and then you see what at the end comes out of it?
Yes, for us it is. We don't report that detailed on it's just very, very hard. To be honest, to understand exactly what has effect on what. But we try.
For you guys, same.
Yeah.
Same. Okay, final question. The wind is picking up, which is quite nice, but also a little bit disturbing. I play a niche sport, badminton. Nobody knows about. It's not in TV, nowhere to be found. But how do you go about? We talked about the big topics. Citigroup, F1, basketball, the big leagues. But how do you find that niche, that new stuff? Where do you go to find that? And as you said earlier, Magnus, there's an opportunity to own a space then, right? If you
Yes.
start early.
Yeah.
So do you want to?
No, exactly. I mean, we've definitely looked at these more up and coming or niche sports where we can take full ownership and do a lot of more integrated things, and it is interesting. But then, like, if the sport is more niche, then you need to add more amplification. Like, to be honest, because it doesn't have the reach by itself, and you can't just live on the core fan group and core audience. Like, it won't be enough, unfortunately. Not for a house like a big, broad brand like Klarna.
Asahi Group, are you looking at niche sports or other areas or outside of your core target audiences to explore and to own maybe?
I think there is opportunity in some of those partnerships that we have. So for the Rugby World Cup, what happens this year is actually the female league, and it happens in the UK. So once we agreed that we will be the official partner for that, I think we went down the route of understanding the female audience in sports and the female players. And then anything that we'd like to do in the rest of our partnerships, or what we do with the brand, also is supporting that sort of help on females on sports, whether it's for football or for rugby. So there, I think within the reality of a big partnership, you can find opportunities to talk to niche audiences at different times, depending on what is happening on that year. But yeah, absolutely, it's a great opportunity at all times.
I would just lead into Barbara with saying that technology has always been driven by a small, geeky, nerdy type of target audiences that then makes topics big. So is niche sports something that you're looking into more closely?
Yeah, I think that emerging sports are really a good opportunity, especially when we talk about media innovation. Emerging sports can bring really some tangible values. Let's consider the audience they have. Usually they are young target audience, mobile first, always live, and this is crucial for us because we can test and learn in real time. Then you have the in-tech activation, meaning that, for example, gaming with the esports, VR,
Sports,
VR,
is it a
exactly,
sport? Yeah.
exactly. Data overlays. These are the kinds of storytelling that we really like. And then, of course, there is also a more creative space when it comes to, flexible relationship and open to really have a deep integration with the brand.
Great. So if anybody needs a connection to the badminton area, right? You want to sponsor, you know where to
Perfect.
find me.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Send an email.
Send an email. It lands on the 200 offers per year. Thank you so much for coming today. It's a nice breeze up here. I can only recommend everybody to come up because this is the best spot, I guess. Thank you so much for coming to
Thank
the
you.
RTL Beach today
Thank
and
you.
talk
Thank you.
about sports.
Thank you. Thank you again.